Okay, we are live.
Welcome everybody to Good Medicine Way. We're coming to you on Monday night here, Mountain Time, 6 o'clock, or no, 6:10. I tell people, I said, we start when we're ready and we finish when we're done. So sometimes it's 6 and sometimes it's quarter after 6, somewhere around there. But our speaker, I just got in touch with him and he says that he's running a little bit behind, so he's going to join us in a little bit. And I told him no problem. We got a lot of little preliminaries to take care of, and we'll do that. So yeah, good friend. He lives out there in just south of Phoenix in Maricopa. Nice little town out there. Very busy guy. So when we do get him, it's pretty special that we get him. So just want to recognize everybody that's on our watch party there and down at school. Thank you guys for showing up and coming on. And I know sometimes we get some of your folks there that'll come on the Zoom as well. So that's cool, really cool. Yeah, so really appreciate you guys. So it's going to be a good talk. This is going to be the book we're going to be talking about tonight, Psalms and Proverbs that just came out. So he's the editor of this book. So with that, I want to recognize the land that we're on here. We're the land of the Tiwa people, the the Hopi, the Pueblo, and the Navajo, and the Apache. So there's a lot of mixture of people in this area. Mostly the Pueblo people are right in this area, up and down the Rio Grande here, 19 Pueblos. I think I've visited every one of them. I think I've been to a feast days at every one of them as well. So if you've ever been to one of those, don't ever fill up on the first house. Yeah, that's what. Always go eat it like a progressive dinner. Eat a little here, eat a little there, especially if you're going to visit 3 or 4 houses. Yeah. So with that, I want to turn it over to Auntie D, who's going to do our opening prayer. Auntie D.
Hello, everybody. Hello, all my wonderful Good Medicine Way relatives. And I just want to say I'm so grateful and privileged to be able to offer this prayer and acknowledge that I am in Oregon, south of Portland, on the lands of the Kalapuya, the Afolati, consolidated into the Grand Ronde tribes. And I'm very grateful to be able to be on this beautiful land. And so we just want to come before you, Creator, Grandfather, and thank you. Thank you for each one of us that's been able to make our way here. Thank you for making the provision. Thank you for our elders and those ones that bring this together so that we all may have a place, a fire to come together, a place, a safe place to come and sit and just look and be with you, Father, to be with you, Grandfather. We thank you for this day. We thank you for our families and our many, many blessings, Father. And I stand in the gap and I ask that you'd please any of us that have just all this angst on us from just all the things the world slaps us and bombards us with daily. We weren't created to be bombarded daily by information and especially all of the angst and the anger and the emotions that go wild. So I just stand before you and say that we just wash all that away right now. We just wash all of that away. We just shake it off and we put it on the altar right before you. And we say, take it, Father. Now we come before you in just our spirits, and we thank you for what you're about to bless us with, and through our brother and sister, Terry and Darlene, and our many brothers and sisters who we all will get a chance to share together. We just thank you for this wonderful blessing, this time, this day, and day of life. In Jesus, Creator sets free name. Aho and amen. May it be so.
You want to introduce the song?
Yeah. Oh, what happened? She just disappeared.
All right.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna play. Oh, there she is. Okay. Uh, Doing something a little different for our opening song. Terry and Darlene made a video of a song that they wrote from the Psalms.
23.
Yeah, let me make sure I click the right one
And while you're listening to that, that's going to be our challenge over the next year here is we're going to read through the 23rd Psalms and we're going to memorize it. Yeah. So most of us know that 23rd Psalms from the King James Version, but not many of us know the First Nations version. But Terry, over the past year here, we've been practicing and to learn the Lord's Prayer here at Good Medicine Way. And so on every other fifth Monday, we have a chance where everybody can practice. And so you and the watch party too. Come next Monday, we'll have a practice time to do the Lord's Prayer from Matthew 6:19. Then we'll give you a chance to show your stuff, your good memory. And some of us, even when I first did it, I made a little mistake. And it's a lot of grace here. But now I feel very comfortable doing it. But we used to do it by sign language. Okay, Brian.
All right. And so on the song, it starts with the chorus, and it repeats the chorus a few times, so hopefully you can catch on the chorus. But it goes, Grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. So hopefully you can join in on the choruses there. You can pick it up. Here we go.
Now the song is from the First Nation version of Psalm 23, and we call God Grandfather. Every time you find the name Yahweh from the Hebrew, we say grandfather. And that's Mishomis in my native language. We call Creator grandfather because it's so relational, so respectful. And that's how we want to present that name, that sacred name in the Psalm. So we wrote from Psalm 23. I'm writing with someone else. I'll talk about that another time. But this is a beautiful song. I hope you'll enjoy it and sing along. So here we go. Grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. In fields of tender sweet grass, you give me rest. Near quiet, peaceful waters, give strength to my body, healing to my soul. Through these good medicines, you make me whole. Grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. Through the canyon of darkness, I need not fear. You are close beside me. Your love is near. Your walking stick and chief staff give comfort and peace. With a headdress of feathers, you honor me. Grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. Listen, grandfather again. Grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. Grandfather, grandfather, guide me like a shepherd. Grandfather, I'll never walk alone. Grandfather, your love will never fail me. Your long house will always be my home. Your long house will always be my home.
Group here chimed in with the rattles and the drum here. Right? It went pretty good. Very good song there. All right, thank you for that. I know that'll be one of our regulars. I think we'll do it here. I feel called there to even do it in a sweat lodge too. That would be a good song to sing in a sweat lodge. We'll go with Apetadaka now. Is going to do our creation insights.
Let's see.
She's coming to us from El Reno,
Okay.
Oklahoma. In the mall, looks like.
Hey, I'm coming to you from inside a Golden Corral. Hey, next to I-40. Hey, there's I-40 behind me over here. Hey, yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me. Hey, I'm standing next to the highway after all. Hey, but yeah, tonight I'm here with my family and we're eating at Golden Corral together. I wanted to share a little bit tonight about kind of what I got to experience this past weekend. I went to the hang on, I'm sorry, I can't. I went to the All Nations Res Covery Gourd Clan's first annual powwow, over here in Concho, in Concho, El Reno, Oklahoma. And so I wrote down this idea that I was having when I got home that second night. It was a 2-day powwow, Saturday, which was my daughter's birthday, and Sunday, which was yesterday. So if you guys can't see me, that's okay. But let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and read the creation insight that I wrote down on my phone in the notes. All right. It's kind of a funny thing that people search for where they belong. Some search high, some search low, to find the place to call home. But when you are among your family and friends, when you're amongst your tribe, your people, you are already welcome. While there may be some debate about you, whether they know you or not, you will certainly feel the spirit of belonging. This weekend, I was reminded of a place where I belong. There were so many ways that I was shown that even if I didn't grow up in this particular community or am very well known amongst the people, I still have a place to belong. Returning to the circle after many months, my family and I were welcomed back into the arena with open arms. My daughter was celebrated on her birthday. The whole powwow sang happy birthday to her. They took the time to recognize my little one and make sure that her 8th birthday was one to remember. She was gifted $8 altogether from this wonderful Cheyenne and Arapaho community. She was also gifted her first fancy shawl outfit, the dress and the cape, from members of the Oklahoma City Powwow Club, who watched her grow up in the dance arena for several years now. I myself won a beautiful blue and yellow star quilt in one of the raffles held at the powwow. I only paid $5 for that star quilt, and it's absolutely beautiful. I have to show you guys that later, probably next week. I witnessed the power of prayer and asking Creator fervently to receive that wonderful gift. Blessings surrounded us within our wonderful community. I was reminded this weekend of the love and care that finding the place where you belong has waiting for you. A reminder of the significance embracing your culture, traditions, and leaning onto a higher power has to give you. celebrating tribal people's recovery from addictions in their lives, embracing what the beauty of traditions carry. How important and amazing it is that Creator made us to be the resilient, determined, loving, and kind people we are as Indigenous, Indian, Native, Aboriginal, or any other names we call ourselves. People. This powwow was such an amazing time and a truly blessed moment, a celebration, a reminder, a place to truly belong. I thank Maheo for this past weekend. I hope that each one of us can find a place where the heart truly beats, where the connection goes deeper than we could possibly imagine, a place where our spirits truly belong. That's what I had to share for this week at Good Medicine Way, eh? But yes, I want to thank you all for allowing me this chance, and I hope that we have a good week here at Good Medicine Way. I'm excited to hear from Uncle Terry Wildman, and but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and hand this back over to Uncle Casey. So thank you, aho, toya, pilamiapi.
Oh, thank you, Kelsey. Very nice observations and wonderful time for your daughter and all. Yeah, powwows are like that when you know you're home. Yeah, they recognize it and special things happen like that. So we're going to turn it over now to the First Nations version of what we got here?
Beatitudes.
The Beatitudes. Boy,
Yeah. So this is a liturgy from the Beatitudes from the First Nations version that Terry came up with. So we're
Yeah.
mixing it up a little bit.
mixing it up. You threw a curve on me there.
All right. So let me put it up here on the screen, and hopefully it'll click through correctly. And I'll do the leader part, and then everybody else do the other part.
I've been down that road.
Creator's blessing rests on the poor, the ones with broken spirits.
The good road from above is theirs to walk.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who walk a trail of tears.
For he will wipe the tears
Tears from their eyes and comfort them.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who walk softly and in a humble manner.
The earth, land,
Land and
and
sky
sky
will welcome them
and
and
always
always be their home.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who hunger and thirst for wrongs to be made right again.
they will eat
And drink
till
till they are full.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who are merciful and kind to others.
their kindness will find
Find
its
its
way
way back to them.
back to them full
Full
circle.
Creator's blessing rests on the pure of heart.
For they are
They
the
are the
ones
ones who will
who will
see the Great Spirit.
Spirit.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who make peace.
It will be
It is
said
said
of
of
them,
them,
they are
the children
of
of
the
the
great.
Great Spirit.
Creator's blessing rests on the ones who are hunted down and mistreated for doing what is right.
For they are walking the good
Good
road
road
from
from above.
above.
That picture is an example of the autumn equinox. Yeah, that sun being right in the middle with equal time on either side of it. It's a good example there. Very nice. All right, we're going to step into now with smoke signals and our giveaway time. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere traveling, not as like Terry here. He and I think we crossed in the air here just a little while ago. He was on his way to Michigan and we were on our way to Phoenix. And quite an adventure that when we had there. Pulled up alongside a car that was driving with no driver. It was a driverless car there in Phoenix, and we've seen them all several different places, especially at the airport. I guess they're like Ubers. They'll pick you up at the airport and nobody in the car, and they'll take you wherever you want to go. And in
Spirit
Phoenix.
cars.
Spirit cars. Oh, there we go. We got it. We got a name now. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But that was last week. So Laura and I and Sarah Allen, we were all went to a workshop there in Phoenix and really learned some really good things about how we can help Good Medicine Way and in good ways to grow. So a good workshop for us to go to. This coming weekend here in Albuquerque, we've got a brand new powwow that's going to be starting here. It's going to be in a park over by Air Force Base called Bullhead Park, and it's titled Painted Sky Powwow. So several of the people that we know there are going to be in charge. A good friend of ours is going to be the head dancer, Terry Pecos, and so we're going to try to make that. But Laura made if you want to go with us, Laura made ticket arrangements to see the Lobos play at the stadium for that afternoon. So we're going to go to the evening grand entry and just have a full day of activities. This week I've been asked to do a Zoom teaching for a class for the Native American course of study, and I think Terry, you took some of that back in the day there, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a Zoom talk with one of the theologians there, Jerry Devine, and that's going to be on the practice of ministry. So I'm going to share a little bit about Good Medicine Way and how we run things and how we got to this point of running things here with our Good Medicine Way order of worship. Next month, every Monday that's coming down next month is going to be with our good our good friend who is now with the Lord, Richard Twist. So we're going to be watching videos of some of his YouTube videos that he did over the years. And a while back, I did a little introduction to why we were going to do that. And I did it in an airport, and I didn't have one of those mics that come around and you could hear me very well. And I think Helen said that she couldn't hear it very well, but I just wanted to say something about that. It was trying to inspire people to see and get a glimpse of how important it was to hear the teachings of Richard Twist and the kind of the benchmark that he set for us to do ministry in a different way, and the genius of his oratory and his able to take concepts and make them so clear and concise that we all learn from them over the years. So many people that are in ministry now have learned so much and still learning from the videos. So I'm hoping that next month you'll be patient with us. You won't have live speakers. We're going to have Richard Twist from YouTube videos that's going to be sharing with us. They're still just as powerful as the day that he did them. So, and then we'll have discussions afterwards. I do that mainly because I was blessed to be able to work with him for 16 years, and got to the point sometimes where we'd finish each other's sentences. Got to know somebody that well, it's a blessing to be with him. So that's going to be all of next week, and then into November, we got good friend Vince Bantu is going to be introducing his new book, and then Sherry Russell, the director of NATES, the Indigenous Learning Community, the seminary part of NATES. She's going to be doing an introduction to what NATES is, the programs that they offer, the master's and the doctoral programs that they offer, the kind of classes, the academics that they do. All of that's going to be part of her talk on November 17th. And then I got a hold of Chris Hockletoby for December 1st. He's going to be introducing his new book that's going to be coming out in November I tried to get him in November, but I still might be able to get his buddy there, Danny Zachariah, maybe for the 10th, because they collaborated on this book. But their book is coming out. It's called Reading the Bible on Turtle Island. And it's, I was blessed to be a part of that book. They did an interview with me and shared some of my stories in that book. So that's going to be coming out. And we're going to give them some airtime so that they can promote that book right along like we're doing tonight with Terry Wildman's, First Nations version, Psalms and Proverbs. So with that, I want to turn it over to our giveaway time. Is the time that we get a chance to share your resources. And it's been amazing how many people are taking advantage of QR code. And Brian will be sharing with how to do that here in a bit. The QR code and those that are mailing gifts to us and helping us to, do ministry better and here in Albuquerque, and buying Bibles too. We buy Bibles so that we can give away. And I just gave one tonight to a young lady right here. She's got a Bible in her hand now, so First Nations version. So we do it here in person with a blanket on the floor here in front of us. Those that can give, we walk up to the blanket, we raise it to the sky, and then we place it on the blanket. And those, the best thing about this time that we can give is that we have been blessed with a matching grant of up to $75,000. So, so every dollar that you give gets doubled. And so that's very nice. So I'm thinking about how we might be able to do year-end giving so that we have a great time for people to invest in Good Medicine Way with a year-end gift, and maybe we can max out $75,000. Who knows? So I want to turn over to Brian here, and he'll tell us about how we can give online.
Yeah, and before we get totally into that, one more little announcement is if you're in the Albuquerque area, it's be a great, if you're going to go to the Painted Sky powwow, like before you go there, on Wednesday nights on the UNM campus. It's like on the west side of campus near University and Martin Luther King Drive, but it's at it's in the Hibbins Center at 440 Redondo. They do a drum practice workshop teaching kind of thing. It's just some guys who do Southern style, and they have a little group together, and they just wanted to create an opportunity for more people to learn about powwow drumming and get involved with all of that. So that's on Wednesday nights at 6 to 8 p.m. They had to cancel last Wednesday, but they said they're going to be back this Wednesday, and they're going to be doing it at least through the fall semester of this semester at UNM. So so that's Wednesday nights. And we'll be putting our digital blanket up on the screen. And as Casey said, it's got a couple QR codes on it. One is PayPal specific. So if PayPal happens to work better for you, you can use that one. The other one with the Good Medicine Way logo just goes directly to our bank account, so we don't have to pay any fees or anything to PayPal. So if it doesn't matter to you, use the one with the Good Medicine Way logo on it. But if you need the PayPal one, it's there. And if you don't like to give online or don't have the ability to do that, you can always send something to our mailing address, which will also be up on the screen. That's 3301 Coors Boulevard Northwest, Suite R349 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87120. And if you have other gifts or talents or things that you're not sure how to get to us that you would like to give, just send us an email at gmw4abq@gmail.com. That's the letters GMW for Good Medicine Way, the number 4, and then the letters ABQ for Albuquerque. So gmw4abq@gmail.com. And if you'd like to participate in Good Medicine Way, do something in one of the services, if you have some other talent or skill that you'd like to utilize with Good Medicine Way, or if you just have some other thing that you'd like to contribute to Good Medicine Way somehow and you're not sure how to do it, just send us an email and we'll get it all figured out. And without further ado, I'll put up the digital blanket and we'll sing a little song.
All right. After that, Ellen Bright will be reading Psalm 23.
Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let me be like you in all my ways. Give me your strength. Teach me your song. Shelter me in the shadow of your wings. For we are your righteousness. If we've died to ourselves and lived through your death, then we shall be born again to be blessed in your love. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let me be like you in all my ways. Give me your strength. Teach me your song. Shelter me in the shadow of your wings. For we are your righteousness. If we've died to ourselves and lived through your death, then we shall be born again to be blessed in your love.
Very nice song. All right, Helen, as soon as he cues it up here, you can read our scripture.
Okay, actually, I have it.
All right.
Okay. So, Psalm 23, verses 2 and 3. He gives me rest in fields of tender sweetgrass and guides me near quiet and peaceful waters. Through these good medicines, he brings strength to my body and healing to my soul. He shows me the good way to walk with firm steps on the road of life to bring honor to his name.
All right, thank you. We'll go into a little centering time, and right after that, I'll introduce our speaker, and then prepare your hearts and minds to hear the message today. All right. Terry Wildman, Gichi Anamiki. Some time ago, Terry came my way here, and we were able to gift him a name back in the day there. Terry and I have been traveling this path together for some time, He was pastoring a church in northern Michigan for a little while there, and I got to be with them up there. And then at time some things took place, and then he stepped away from that, and the Lord opened even up a bigger door for him after that time. And he's been a blessing to many, many people now for going on these years now with a book that's, from what I hear, it's over 100,000 copies sold. And Terry has just been on the go. I've been following him. It seems like he's always in the air, going someplace teaching, and it's very good. And I guess I just seen him in Florida, and I hope he talks about the the future of the Old Testament that's going to be coming out in the future here. So what they plan to do with that. So my good friend Terry Wildman and his wife Darlene, been sharing life together with them for some time now. So I want to turn it over to you, Terry, and you can add a little more for introductions.
All right. Well, bonjour. Hindi na way maganadug. Anin. I said hello, all my relations, all my relatives. It really feels good to be here with you in this this virtual space. We're gonna make this is a sacred space because we've come together for a sacred purpose, and that's to hear each other, hear our hearts, to hear the spirit of our Creator speak to us and speak in us and speak through us and speak around us. I really love. I've learned to love these Zoom sessions. Because I get to see people, at least their faces, most of you. I mean, hello, Kimberly, I can't see your face, or just Jamie and Heaven and Monique Castillo. Oh, there's Kimberly. Oh, good to see you. Kimberly Medicine Horn. She was on the council for the New Testament and for Psalms and Proverbs. So some of those words in there, they're from her. That was her input in there. But there's so many things I want to say today. I don't have time to say it all. So we're going to just talk a little bit about the Psalms and Proverbs. There you can see it here on the screen. This is the hardcover version there. Doesn't that look nice? I like the colors on this one. Yeah, Casey's got one there, and University Press has done a good job at helping us get this out there, get this published. I want to thank them. But I want to read off the names of the indigenous people, the native people who were on the council, the translation council for the Psalms and the Proverbs. And that's Renee Begay, Alvin Deere, Cortland Hopkins, Brian John, Kimberly Medicine Horn, Christian Locklear, Tim Webster, Zelma Wind, Amy Allen, and they were all, that was our translation council. And most of them read every verse, read it over, gave suggestions here and there where they were needed. So I just want to say this has been a labor of community as we go over these, scriptures together, read them together. I do the initial work because I've kind of developed over this many years now, because the New Testament goes back. We started that in the New Testament in 2015. So it's been 10 years since we started the New Testament. And now here we are looking at the Old Testament, doing the whole Old Testament, We actually signed the contract. I did it at University Press in Chicago. Now, Casey, you said you saw me in Florida. I'm going, that must have been my ghost or something.
Oh no, I thought that's where you had the signing or the
That was in Illinois, near Chicago,
Illinois.
at University Press. That was, indigenous territory there. We got all those
Yeah.
tribes You know, we got the Potawatomi there. We got the Ojibwe that were there. We got uh, so many tribes. The Miami even worked their way up into that area. And the Sac, I think, from the Sac and Fox people, you know, and so we were on that indigenous land. And we did a recognition there at the University Press of the people of the land, and I felt so honored to be on the territory of the people of my ancestry that were in that area. Now I'm down in Arizona now on the traditional lands of the Pima, the Maricopa, the Tohono O'odham people, and some of the Yaqui people are up here too. And then you got the Yavapai Apache. I mean, there's so many tribes out everywhere. I mean, Arizona's got 24 federally recognized tribes. And plus, they got some that aren't even federally recognized, you know? So there's lots of indigenous people still here. And when we do land acknowledgments, we're not just saying, oh, people used to live here. We're saying these people are here now. This is their traditional lands that they're on. And we're still here. We're still alive. We're still gathering together. We're still holding on by the just hanging on to our traditions, hanging on to our ways, you know. And I've got a T-shirt from the local tribes here, and they have on that T-shirt they have the name of their sacred mountain, which is right close by here where I live. It's about maybe 8 miles away from where I live is their sacred mountain where the Creator was spoke to them from that sacred mountain. And then they got the cactus, the saguaro, and they have their own name for the saguaro. It's beautiful, and that was the sacred plant they had because it kept them alive during the drought seasons, and it has a flower on the top and it has fruit that they can eat. And then they have this word that is the same word as like the Hebrew people might say shalom. The Navajo people might say hojo. You know, the Ojibwe people might say Mano B'Madazig, the good life, or something like that. And it has to do with the kind of life that walks in harmony and balance with all the Creator and all of creation and all of our relatives and everything. So anyway, I just wanted to honor those who work on this translation of the First Nation version, Psalms and Proverbs, and now on the Old Testament. Now, the Old Testament, I'll get this part out of the way, but the plan is to have four, it'll come in four sections, okay? The first section is going to be Genesis through Joshua, okay? And then they'll publish that. And that'll be about 3 years away. We're hoping that they'll have it ready and published and out there. Now, I know it's a long time to wait, but it's going to be beautiful. We're already working on Genesis, and when you read Genesis, you're just going to, people cry already reading Genesis, you know, that opening, you know, in the beginning, and everything. But then, so I'm working on Genesis. I already did the basic Genesis work already. I've done the initial translation on all the book of Genesis. And then our reviewers are coming behind me now, and they're about halfway through Genesis now. And then we got our Hebrew consultant coming through and double checking all the Hebrew, making sure we got it straight. And every once in a while, Dan Hawk, who's our Hebrew consultant, he's got a native heart for our native people. Every once in a while, he says, Terry, you're taking that one too far. That word's not big enough to handle that concept. I'll go, okay. I'll keep it inside that boundary there. But he lets that boundary be not like a solid wall rock. He lets it be stretchable because words are stretchable, especially Hebrew words. They have lots of different roots. You can go down in that root down there deep into the soil and go, oh, there's that idea. Let's bring that idea to the top. You know, most of the translations into English from the Hebrew, they don't always bring out all that good stuff that's down there in the roots to the surface. You see, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And so we dig in there a little deep and we bring some of those concepts up to the surface. And you're going to hear that in the Proverbs, but we also bring it out in a native way to show where our native ways and the Hebrew way that Creator gave the Hebrew people weren't very different. There's so many similarities. You know, the core values and the core teachings are the same. Now, we had different ceremonies, but those ceremonies were to do the same kind of things that the Hebrew people did. And God gave them their sacred herbs, their sacred oils, their smoke had to be a certain kind of thing because that was what He gave them. But you see, as Anishinaabe people, hey, He gave us different ones, and that's okay. It's okay. We have the sweet grass, the tobacco, sema, and we have the hairs of Mother Earth, that sweet grass. We've got the help me. I got sweet grass, tobacco, sage. One more. Help me, Casey.
You got
Cedar.
pine.
Cedar.
Yeah.
That's right. The cedar and everything. So anyway, you got to pray for me because my brain sometimes doesn't want to remember things that I should automatically remember unless I put them in a certain order, and then I remember them. I don't know if that's happening to any of you, but don't get old unless you're going to be okay with that, okay? Because it happens. Okay, now, where am I going? You know what? We already read Psalm 23, but I do want to say one thing. I want to have everybody know something. Can you hear that? It's kind of tight. Here it's kind of dry in Arizona. It's kind of tight. But so in the Psalms, if you read it from a regular translation, every once in a while in one of the Psalms, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the same song, you will come across a word in the Hebrew that they pronounce Selah. Ever see that word Selah? Well, when we came across that word Selah, we said, what does that mean? Because most Bibles, they just put Selah in Hebrew. So what does it mean in English? So I dug deep. I did the research. And guess what? Nobody knows for sure what it means. I'm not kidding you. Do the research. You'll find out. Now, people have ideas about what it might mean, and I'm okay with that. So one of the things it might mean when you come to that Selah is it might mean it's like an exclamation. You know, like something, just be excited about this. And then it also might mean, hey, stop a minute and think about that. Ponder about that. Or it might mean instruction to the musicians on what to play right there. So maybe it meant crash those cymbals. It might have meant that to them. They might have crashed the cymbals right there because they had big cymbals. They had big old cymbals. And go to Psalm 150 and it talks about the crashing cymbals. Well, I call it the thundering drums, you know, crashing through, you know, that honor beat on the drum, boom, is like a crashing cymbal, isn't it? It has that same feel when you bring that thing down on the drum. And that's the idea. So when we came to this, I wasn't sure what we were going to do, but one Christian Locklear, who's our Lumbee guy on our working on that, he says, Terry, you know, we go to the powwows, and when that MC says something really important, what happens? All the drums hit, don't they? They just ba-boom on that drum, or they can do one hit, or ba-boom on the drum, or you'll hear 4 or 5 drums hit it. And now that's not like the comedy thing you hear on television where they go boom, you know, to laugh. No, this is it's like an honor beat. It's an honor beat to honor what that person is saying and to agree with it. So we said, hey, let's call Selah honor beat on the drum. So when you read the psalm, you guys should do this when there's a psalm you're reading that has the honor beats in it. When it gets to the Selah, you just go and then keep reading. And you got that honor beat on the drum. And I think that'd be a very, very good way to do that. And I've been on a podcast already, at a theological podcast, and I taught about that. And there, and Casey got his drum out. He's about ready to Selah for us, you know. Yeah, he's muted, so I couldn't hear a thing, but I saw it, you know. Okay. Hey, it's good to be here. It's good to see your faces. Uh I just love being here with you. And so what I want to do, I did this at Wachoni Family Camp, but most of you weren't there to see. I did this little, yeah, I did this teaching out of Proverbs chapter 8. Now, Brian, do you have the
Your PowerPoint?
PowerPoint for this?
Yeah,
Let's put that PowerPoint up, called Grandmother Wisdom, Grandfather's Partner in Creation. And I want to kind of go through this pretty quickly. I could go deeper, but I'm just going to introduce some concepts here that we found in the book of Proverbs in here that a lot of translations don't bring out hardly at all. But we found it there, and it's there in the scriptures. It's in the Hebrew. So we've got, so in Psalm chapter 8, we have a picture of the Creator, how in the beginning Creator made everything there is. Okay? So Creator had a helper, and that helper was called wisdom. But wisdom was given a personality. Wisdom became, some translations actually say, Lady Wisdom. That's because they had lords and ladies. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is that this is a personification. Grandmother Wisdom is actually the Creator revealing himself through a feminine personality. So I loved how we call Creator Grandfather, and you heard that in the song, how we explained that before the song about how we say in Mashomas, in my tribe, many of the tribes have used grandfather as a reference to the Great Spirit, to Creator. So we call Creator Grandfather whenever that sacred name comes in there. So we said, we got grandfather and grandmother wisdom working together, because it takes the fullness of who the Creator is revealed to us in masculine and feminine ways. That doesn't mean the Creator is a male or a female. No, Creator is above those kind of concepts. But he reveals himself to us in ways that we can see aspects of his nature revealed through male and female, masculine. And I love this in Grandmother Wisdom. I love this picture here. Bring up that second one, that second picture. I don't have any control, so Brian, you'll have to do that for me. Yeah. Don't you love this picture? I love this picture here. Grandfather and grandmother creating the universe. And you know, there's something about harmony and balance in this. Because if we only think of the Creator through masculine terms, we get out of balance. We have to think of the Creator not only through masculine terms, but feminine terms. Because he created us both male and female in his likeness, in his image. And so that's what brings balance. When he made the first human beings, he made them to be male and female because that brings a harmony and balance to the creator and to the creation. Because everything that's around us has that feminine and masculine aspect to creation. You find it everywhere. You find it in the plants. You even find it in Father, Son, and Mother Earth. You know, you need both to bring the harmony and balance. Life, the sun warms the earth, the photosynthesis takes place in the tree leaves and the plants and everything. So anyway, I'm going to take too long on this if I don't move on. So let's read through a little bit of Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22. Listen to what it says. This is grandmother wisdom talking. Grandfather brought me forth at the beginning of his work of creation, long before he made all things. From before all days, he set me in the place of honor during the first days of Mother Earth. So grandmother wisdom was there before anything else was created, because that's an aspect of who creator is. His wisdom. All things were created by his wisdom and for him. So in verse 24, she says, I was born before the oceans were filled, before the springs of water burst from the ground. My birth took place before the mountains were set in place and before the hills were formed. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I was there before Creator made the prairies and the plains, even before the first clumps of clay were formed. I was with him when he set the world above in place. I was his companion when he carved a circle upon the face of the ancient deep waters. And what came out of that circle? The earth, the land came out of that circle that he drew on the ancient waters. Yes, grandmother wisdom, was there when he placed the clouds in the sky and made the underground rivers to flow. That's Mother Earth's veins, the rivers that flow underground. I was with him. I like this. We got real ending here. I was with him when he told the oceans how far they could go, so they would go no farther than what he said. I was there when he set in place the strong turtle that holds up the land. Whoa! Does it say that in the Hebrew? No, it doesn't use the word strong turtle in the Hebrew, but neither does it use the word foundation. That's what most translations say, when he laid the foundations of the earth. So what is that picture is here? So we used, for the foundations of the earth, we used our native story that's been adopted across Turtle Island by most of our tribes, of the turtle that holds up the land. That turtle that came forth out of the story. There's so many stories where the turtle becomes where the land is put on it and it grows into what we call the island today. I think it started out maybe as an Anishinaabe kind of story, and then it spread to the other tribes. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful picture because it doesn't, in the Hebrew, what it actually talks about is these pillars that hold up the land, these rock pillars from below. Because the ancient Hebrew people, there's a kind of a picture of how the ancient people of that land and that time, that the Hebrew people early on were there, the ancient Near Eastern people, they saw, this is how they viewed the universe or the earth. So everything was water, and that's what it says in Genesis, right? In the beginning, there was just water everywhere. And then Creator, out of the water, creates this space. So he puts a dome up above to hold the waters above the sky. And he puts that dome, comes all the way down and goes under the earth. And under the earth, there's these columns of the earth, the pillars, these rock pillars that hold up the land. Now, if you got a good imagination, if you look at this, I can see that the turtle's feet right down there. Don't you see those turtle's feet down there at the bottom? That looks like kind of like a turtle. Could be moving there, holding up that land there. But the whole idea was they didn't see things scientifically. They saw things different. Now we understand scientifically that probably those rock pillars aren't really holding up the land, except there is stone underneath us. You know, there's stones down there, but not in this kind of image where there's a dome overhead and stuff there. So we call that dome the sky lodge from above. That sky lodge. It's called heaven. We call it heaven in the Bible. The heavens and the earth. The heavens are my throne. The sky lodge is my throne. The sacred lodge of Creator that's above us. And then there's one on earth. His sacred lodge was on earth. The Hebrew people had actually built that temple, and that was his sacred lodge on earth. But there was also, it was built according to the pattern of the one that was up above in the heavens. So anyway, so what we did, we said, let's use that turtle instead of the pillars that hold up the land. Let's use the strong turtle that holds up the land. We footnoted it and everything, but I checked with several Hebrew scholars that have their scholarship, their PhDs is in ancient Near Eastern thinking. They thought it was beautiful that we used turtle that holds up the land. And we just footnoted it, and we'll explain it. You'll see it when it comes. Oh, you see it in the Psalms. You'll read the explanation for that. But I'll go back to the translation here. I hear his grandmother wisdom. So I was the wise builder at his side, at grandfather's side, making his heart glad each day, dancing with joy before him. Oh my, can you see think of a dance at a powwow of the grandfather dancing with grandmother earth and dancing in that circle of life, and out from them everything is formed, everything, all the beauty just kind of, if Walt Disney could do that, it would just be beautiful to see the stars coming out as they dance and swirl around, and the land and all the beautiful things and the animals coming out. I just think it would be beautiful. But look at verse 31. She says, I danced for joy in this world he was creating. See, as I delighted in the human beings he placed there. You see, God loves us human beings, and he made us as he made us like him, and he takes joy in us. And I can see grandmother wisdom and grandfather dancing together in joy at those first human beings, those earth-born ones coming out of the land. So I think when we think of when we use these metaphors, these are metaphors. Our native people, I don't think we literally, I don't know, maybe some of us do, but I don't often think that we literally think a turtle holds up the ground. But we just see that as the beautiful story of how Creator brought it forth. And what I love about our native stories, it's not just foundations. It's a living being, a turtle. And I think that's a really good way to understand the earth, as everything's living, everything's alive, everything has purpose, and everything fulfills its purpose. And that's what we keep praying for, that the Creator's purpose, Creator's will, that the beauty of his ways in the world above will be reflected in the earth below. And so that's what we're seeing. And I love this picture because it's a picture of harmony and balance between grandmother wisdom and the Creator. Now, if you jump ahead to the New Testament, and I've done some scholarship on this, you have in the beginning was In John 1:1, in the beginning was what? The Logos, or Logos, some people pronounce it. The Word. See, that word, that Logos, was grandmother wisdom. But, because the Logos didn't have necessarily, in the Greek there's no pronouns. It's not really he or she there. It doesn't become he until the Logos takes on humanity and becomes a male human being. Creator sets free, Jesus. But before he was Creator sets free, Jesus, if you go way back to the beginning, he was grandmother wisdom. Now, I know that's a little challenge for some people to think, but man, for me, it makes real sense because just because God revealed himself in a human being who was male doesn't mean that that's all of God we can understand is maleness or masculinity. That wasn't the purpose of it. Because Jesus said, I'm not complete until my church, which is his bride, the feminine, are joined together as one. And he joined himself together as one with his church. So in some sense, when you got Jesus and his body, the church, the sacred family, you've got the same picture. You've got grandfather's son and grandmother wisdom's daughter right there. So that's about all I have to say. Those are just some of the thoughts that come out of Psalms and Proverbs that I felt had more indigenous feel to them. And I would love to take any questions you have if there's time. Any questions you have, or talk about something else. If you've read something you wonder about, I'd be glad to share on that.
All right, Terry. Yeah, we're going to go into a reflection time right now, and right after the flute, then Brian will lead us and moderate us into our Q&R.
Sounds good.
All right, the floor is open.
First, can I just jump in and say thank you, Brother Brian? That playing your music is always such a blessing. That just then was really, really sweet. And I just want to say, Brother Terry, how grateful we are, because the one thing that it is impressing me so much about the Psalms and the Proverbs book is that the use of like grandfather. It's like you've succeeded. Creator grandfather has blessed you, and those with you, those all of those that he has drawn together for this very purpose. Wow, how blessed are we to be seeing all this happening, that one day the grandchildren may be talking about, and we get to be here in this moment. But I just wanted to say how grateful I am, because the anointing seems to have just peeled back that westernized, colonized wall that stays there, and it brings the intimacy. And even more so, since you just went through and explained like with grandmother wisdom, it made me immediately, and I can't remember where it is in Romans, but where it says there's neither Jew nor Greek, nor male nor female, or you could go backwards, that the feminine is with, and that one spirit, that creator's one spirit, but how the different facets of it, how conceptually, it's just made it so, it's just peeled back so many layers that truly, it's like nothing I've ever read before. And I just am very grateful and blessed for all of the hard work that you and all of the others have. All of you, I just think of you as forerunners, have just been toeing the line and digging these ruts, and it's really coming together now, but it wasn't always this easy. I want you to know there, these older ones of us know and see that, how what you have poured in, and I'm grateful for all of your obedience.
Miigwech.
Yeah, I really love that you're doing the Old Testament as like in a story format, because I feel like that's really the thing that modern American theology has really lost, because we've become like so didactic and precise and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it's kind of like, not seeing the forest for the trees, or as Jesus said it, we're straining out a gnat but swallowing a camel. And that, we tend to get like just so hyper literal and super specific and really kind of try to contain and box everything up. But that's not really how those scriptures were written or originally read. So I think it's really wonderful that you're kind of getting back to that story element of it, because I think that's really that really holds the heart of Creator much better than the kind of very didactic way that we tend to approach Scripture with our theology in this country. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's like a tunnel vision, huh, brother? It's like it's removed the tunnel vision and has opened this giant lens that ones couldn't look through before.
Yeah, I seen. If some of you have seen some illustrations of the Wizard of Oz movie, and how they're in just showing just the picture of it, they're panoramic the image that's coming out, and they show that in different theaters now. It is really just you see Dorothy, but then you see the tornado, and then you see them hiding in the storm cellar, all in one panoramic view. It just seems like you're bringing that scripture out so broadly that we can really grasp it better now. We have a question in house here now. Twyla.
Yeah. First question is, when can I get a Bible? Second comment is, I found it very interesting how you put the words of the grandmother in there, the grandmother of wisdom, because as I read those passages in the King James, and it says, I was there, I am there, I helped do this, I always assumed that was Jesus being there with God the Father, until God said, okay, now you need to go down to earth and help these people that aren't listening to me. And it makes so much more sense to think about it as being, and also the scripture, or in the beginning of the Bible where it says, God said, grandfather said, let us create man in our image. And as I'm trying to teach that when I do children's church and it's creation time, it's very hard to explain to them who God was talking about when he said our. But it makes so much sense to think about it being grandmother wisdom. And God was saying, let's create man so they have us there within them and they can find their way the way that it should go. And so that was just very enlightening. And now I can't wait to get my own copy so I can read it and really soak it in and study it and underline it so I can remind myself wisdom could have been my grandmother. And how often do we talk about to our young people, or we try to? I, as a grandmother, I would only hope that my grandchildren respect me for the things I've learned and tried to teach them. And it just makes so much sense. And it's very comforting to know that there was a grandmother wisdom. So thank you for that interpretation. It's very beautiful.
As far as where you can get a copy of it, I mean, there's lots of places you can go online to get it, even at a reduced rate. But I think Good Medicine Way gathers is going to be getting a few. I don't know if they're available there.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. I think between me and Twyla, we can put a expense report in and purchase them for right here. It comes in paperback as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And if you order them in bulk, you can get a pretty good discount and stuff. And sometimes if you go to like right now, Amazon's selling them cheaper than University Press does. So if you're okay, and I want to say something to everybody. If you really like this First Nation version, you may not like Amazon, but people go there to get it. And and so if you can put, even if you didn't buy it from Amazon, you can put a review on there. You can write a review and tell people that you love it. If you don't love it, don't do a review. No, I'm no, I'm just saying, so many people, that really helps people when they read those reviews, especially when they come from indigenous native people. Uh, it just really helps people find it, and it gives them some courage to read it, and stuff. I mean, things are going really good with it. People are loving it. We're getting really good feedback from both native people and non-native people. I think we have an opportunity. This is just one of the ways that Creator is going to begin to break down those walls that colonialism created between our
oh,
peoples,
yeah.
and break those walls down. Like Jonathan Miracle, broken walls. That's what he's talking about. Break those colonial walls down, between us, and let's come together. But anyway, uh, thank you for the feedback on that.
Yeah, out here in this United Methodist Conference here, the superintendent and several pastors and even the bishop of this area here is also promoting the First Nations version, is that other pastors should pick it up and start using it.
hmm
Pretty, yeah.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay. Well, hello, Uncle Terry. It's good to see you here again. I've been on here the last few times that you've been on here, and it's always a blessing to have you here at Good Medicine Way. And I'm always blessed by what you have to share. And there was a lot of revelation in this teaching. I mean, you went into some deep stuff. I'm going to have to meditate on it, let it sink in, and I think probably come back to it and listen to it again to get another layer of revelation. But so it's excellent teaching, and I look forward to reading the translation of the Old Testament when you finish writing it. And I haven't got a hold of a copy of the Psalms and Proverbs yet. I'm going to get that soon. I really look forward to reading that. But I guess I had a question, but then as I was listening to Brian talk, then I thought I wanted to kind of share something in relation to that. He was talking about how people relate to the Old Testament, and I think what he said was really good. I was also thinking, because I like to teach people about the Hebraic roots of Christianity, as well as just I like to teach about it like a non-Western understanding of the scriptures too, as well, in addition to that. And sometimes it can be difficult. I was in the Czech Republic trying to teach. It's interesting that people in the Czech Republic were very open to the Native American understanding of the Creator, but they were some of them were kind of closed-minded to the Hebraic, which I was surprised. But it was because we've been so indoctrinated to believe that the Torah is bad and that it's irrelevant. And I think that I was kind of teaching them that really comes from, after Constantine, I don't want to go into a whole bunch of history, but just that after that time period when he severed the Hebraic roots of Christianity, after that time period, they began creating doctrines, to try to distance themselves from the Hebraic roots in order to justify anti-Semitism. And that's why we've kind of come to really see the Torah in such a bad light, and that it's because of Jesus. He just did away with it all. And it's like they're missing out on a huge portion of the Bible. And so it's like we have to un-indoctrinate ourselves and to try to read the Old Testament and the Torah with fresh eyes. And I was just thinking that some of the sages, the Jewish sages, actually have really some enlightening things to say about the Torah that a lot of times is not discussed in Christianity. But there is, I'm from the Houston area, and there's a Messianic rabbi in the Houston area that he teaches every week from the Torah portion. And his teaching is really full of revelation. And it's like, wow, I've been in church all my life, and I've never, ever heard the Torah taught like this. And yet it is connected with Christ. And so anyway, I'm not sure if you're interested. I know we're friends on Facebook. I could send you one of his teachings. If you're ever interested, you could check it out. But anyway, that being said, I also had a question. It sounds like it was really fascinating when you were talking about the feminine in relation to wisdom. And it sounds like I've studied Hebrew also, so I know that English, is a gender neutral language, but Hebrew is not. It's feminine and masculine. And so I think that is also maybe one reason why in the U.S. and Western culture, sometimes they have a hard time grasping this masculine, feminine thing. But it sounds like to me that you're saying that, it sounds to me like I just wanted to clarify, it sounds like you're saying that when they talk about wisdom in Proverbs, that it's a feminine words. They're using feminine words to describe wisdom. Is that correct?
That is correct. Every time if you look up the word wisdom in the Hebrew, use the same word that's used there in Proverbs, it's always feminine.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing about that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's really beautiful, and I'm glad that our translation was able to bring it out more than other translations do, because you kind of get lost in all the pronouns that are there. But those pronouns are feminine pronouns. They're referring back to grandmother wisdom, and sometimes you can lose that in the way they translated it. Translated it in the most English translations. So I just wanted to bring that out because I think it's beautiful. I understand that Jesus is the wisdom of God. I mean, Paul talked about Jesus as being the wisdom of God, the embodiment of God's wisdom. So Jesus within himself had that feminine wisdom portion of the Creator coming out, and you see that in how Jesus becomes, the good shepherd. There's something about that shepherding, nurturing aspect of the Creator that Jesus brings out more than anyone else, more than any prophet in the Old Testament. He brings that nurturing, loving, caring. Jesus, I wanted to spread my wings over you like a mother hen covering her chicks. Okay, so Jesus is talking right from wisdom, right there, right from that feminine aspect of beauty of that the Creator has given. It's not to say that men can't be compassionate. It's just that women, I think, have that built into most women is built in that unless it's been hurt somehow and beat on somehow, it's there's a compassion there that a lot of masculine men don't have naturally, but we can all experience the beauty of that's the whole idea of men and women coming together, right? One flesh, one spirit. And that's how I always love it when in Genesis when he says it's not good. I mean, all the way through there, this is good. It was good. Day 1, it was good. Day 2, it was good. Day 3, it was good. All of a sudden he goes, it was not good. So the only place that says it was not good was when the man was without his balance, the other aspect that was missing from the maleness that he was representing there. And then when he met that woman, and I tell you what, it wasn't no rib. There's nothing there. When I'll tell you ahead of time, that word where it says rib, every translation in English says rib. It doesn't say rib in the Hebrew. Go try to find that word rib. There is a word for rib in the Hebrew, but it's not found there. It's the side. He took from the side. And that word side means kind of like the side of a mountain, the side of the temple. It's the same Hebrew word. He took the side. And I kind of look like that. He split the guy right down the middle and then had to, put them together. So it's kind of like half and half as far as I can see. One side's kind of got the masculine, one side's the feminine, but he split those two apart and then said, come together. And when you come together in that balance and harmony of those two relationships, what happens? Creation happens.
Creation.
Birth happens. And I think it's beautiful. That's a picture of what happens all around us. Mother Earth is birthing things all the time. Out of her, the womb of the ground, the soil, everything. I tell you what, the more I delve into the Hebrew, the more and then I've delved into our indigenous spirituality more, and I feel like I'm a baby in indigenous spirituality. But what little bit I get, boy, it's feeding me good. I'm liking what I'm getting. I might only be getting some of the milk of our indigenous spirituality, but the milk really is making me grow, and as I compare that together with the Hebrew, I see the connection that's there, and I understand, and I love how you say there is so much of the Torah, the law of God that was adapted for them as a people in a place in time. The wisdom or the Torah of God was adapted for that culture and that place and that time, but it found its fulfillment in Jesus. And we can all walk in the ways of the Torah, but it gets adapted through Jesus to all of our different cultures, and I think that's a beautiful way to understand it. Not everybody will understand it that way, but that's how I see it.
Well, you put that perfectly there at the end, but all of that was very, very insightful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I like that, how you brought out how, like, when the masculine and the feminine come together, then that's when you have creation. And from that part in the proverb, that's exactly what Creator did. You had the masculine and the feminine coming. So, like, that's required for creation. So, yes, it's a great how that you see those threads all connecting. Did you have something, Heaven? You had your hand up, but then it was down. So I didn't know if you still had something or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that I love this conversation about masculine and feminine because it's also not just about black or white or right or wrong. It's about honoring duality.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And I also like the fact that like it also highlights that we all have our own strengths and we all have our own weaknesses
Mm.
and we have our own medicine. And it's only when we respect each other's medicine and come to know each other's strengths and weaknesses that we can show up for each other as good relatives. And I think that like what I really like is the focus on like grandfather and grandmother, but also family, right? So it brings all of creation together as relatives. And like you see that especially in the end, like at Proverbs 14, as you read that whole part of Proverbs 14, it starts talking about grandfather, but it ends talking about grandmother wisdom too, and how they're working together for all of creation. And like in a way, that's kind of like modeling family for us, but also in a bigger way, not just like mom, dad, kids, like the plant nation, the animal nation, all of these beautiful things that we get to be a part of every day. And I was super glad you chose Psalm 23. I have this hanging in my kitchen, and I was so happy to read it from this version because it made so much more sense. It felt so much less ominous and so much more comforting, you know? And I was thinking about that. Like, I just started a new job today. I'm super grateful and happy for it. And I was rushing when I got off work to get to this class. And I was super grateful because I walked up and it was like a mom with her stroller and a couple students. And we were going to go forage staghorn sumac. We were going to make lemonade. And we were walking through the prairie and there was like all this goldenrod. And I was just thinking, like, that's just like Psalm 23, you know? You just go outside and all the comfort that you need is in creation if you're smart enough to look around you. And most of the time I'm not. But like sometimes when I step into the field of goldenrod, I'm like, oh, it's all right here and everything is fine. And so thank you for sharing.
Rich.
And can I add, brother, that for me, like when it was talking about grandfather is my shepherd, my lodge will always have plenty. It gives me rest in fields of tender sweet grass and guides me near quiet and peaceful waters. Can you say the Missouri on the prairie right there? And if you've ever seen the sweet grass just go with the wind and imagine, put yourself there. Through these good medicines, he brings strength to my body and healing to my soul. He shows me the good way to walk with firm steps on the road of life to bring honor to his name. To me, that was he was giving us a picture, the way that was written, you're automatically like, you know, that's your he gave you a natural counselor. And mother, you don't have to go to counseling. You don't have to see it. This is how you get it. This is how you, when you need peace, come here, lay down in the middle with me and mom. Come get in the middle of bed, me and mom, and we'll listen and you talk. And that's what I'm trying to, that's what's such a blessing to me, is just how it just like breaks through to this intimacy that it's an awesome, wonderful thing that's happening.
I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad you see that in there. Uh, we just, I'm amazed that, Creator has given us the ability to do this together, and and it, and it's getting out there. It's touching so many people. Um, I didn't ever really intend to do the Old Testament, but now I'm excited about it. You know, I went through Genesis. I've learned so much. Oh my gosh. I could teach on Genesis now from that Hebraic and then an indigenous perspective, you know, and also I appreciate the non-native um, theologians who have been willing to break out of that westernized way of thinking, and they add a lot to what's happening here. You know, I don't think our native people should just ignore non-native theologians. I think we should uh, engage with them. And I had the honor of meeting Dr. John Walton at Wheaton while I was in the Chicago area in Illinois just last week. And wow, he's got some amazing stuff that we talked about. You know, and I shared with him the First Nation version and what we're working on Genesis, and he's an expert in Genesis, and he's broken out of that Western way of thinking. And I'm thankful for him because he's done the work of digging deep and being willing to set aside a certain way of that we've been told you have to read the Bible. And he says, no, we need to read it through their eyes, not our eyes, he says. And I love that.
All right, go ahead, Helen.
I was thinking of when you were showing that diagram of the Sky Lodge and the turtle underneath, that words matter, metaphors matter, and sometimes they carry meanings that go beyond our understandings,
Yeah.
maybe for this point in time, but at some point all will be revealed. And I remember earlier, a couple of years ago, there was a book group through Wood Medicine Way reading Braiding Sweetgrass. And the author was talking about how indigenous people always understood and said that the trees talk to each other, they communicate, and how a lot of white settlers just thought that was nonsense. They don't have mouths, they don't have vocal cords, they don't talk to each other. And now we know that electromagnetically they do send messages and receive them. And I thought that metaphor was trying to explain to us in ways that we could understand that we didn't have the knowledge of the electromagnetic stuff yet. But
Right.
if we just understood that they talk to each other, that would be enough to understand what we needed to do at that time. And I was thinking about that with the idea of the turtle, how people dismiss there is not a living turtle, there's not an amphibian down there, but what do you know? There's this shape down there you have, and it does look like a turtle. And what else would you call it? So maybe that's a turtle, and we just have only known turtles as one thing through our lives, and there's a lot more to be discovered. So I think that's part of what's so exciting about a lot of our teachings here and our discussions is that we're untangling a lot of ideas, and in the process, a lot of ideas come out. So thank you for being part of that untangling tonight.
And Helen, that makes me think of grandfather turtle and grandmother turtle
Yeah.
represent ancient wisdom. It's like nailed it.
You know, the Chinese have associated the tortoise with wisdom, partly because of the age that they grow to be. So that really ties together.
Well, you know, Hebrew's full of metaphor, and so is our native stories are filled with it. I mean, what does it say? Heaven is my throne. Now, do you see a chair up there? No, you don't see a throne chair. You know, and it says the earth is my footstool. Okay. Uh, I like to think of it as the earth, Mother Earth is where I rest my feet because I can see her hugging Creator's feet, you know, and and just loving his feet because he rests his feet there, and the heavens, you know, is where he sits and guides the universe from there, and imagine that this creator that created the stars and everything out there actually loves us weak-minded human beings so much. It blows my mind, you know. And yeah, I think God speaks metaphor, and because that's how he relates to us. Otherwise, we couldn't understand the thing he says. If he didn't speak the way that we understand other things, that's why Jesus talked in parables.
Are you at a good spot, Ipitaka, where you can ask your question?
Yeah, well, currently I'm going down the road, so but I can maybe say a little bit. You just won't be able to see me very well, is it? Um, so while you were introducing the idea of grandmother wisdom, my uncle was sitting here listening with me, and he brought up the idea of the white buffalo calf woman. And
Mm.
I know that it's kind of like a sacred kind of secret thing sometimes.
Hmm.
But when you were talking about the grandmother wisdom, that's who we thought of was the white buffalo calf woman who brought with her a lot of herbs. Um, also, like advocated for women and
Yeah.
helped to create the women's lodges, for like Sundance and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And but yeah, so I started thinking a lot about that, and I was just wondering, is grandmother wisdom kind of like white buffalo calf woman in a way, but maybe with a different name that is like a like kind of like umbrella to like to pull all that sacred balance in.
Well, here's how I would say it, that for the Lakota people who that woman came to, that spirit came to, and revealed herself from the Creator, from Wakantanka, the great mystery. Um, for them, she is grandmother wisdom. That's how grandmother wisdom revealed herself to the Lakota people, you know. But that's not, I mean, that's why the Lakota people can understand her teachings the best, because it was for them, and they can listen to what she said and help us understand better some of the creator. But then, we have other tribes who had different visions in different ways the creator revealed himself. And so instead of fighting each other over these, my way's right and your way's wrong, we should say, oh, how do our ways fit together? What can we learn from this? And then, that's how the Bible, I think, comes into the picture. It's not there to tell everybody they're wrong. It's to show everybody where they're right.
Yeah, I was just thinking a little bit about there's this verse that my husband wrote in like his I guess you could say it's kind of like his written word. Like he does like written word, like speaking or whatever. He says his basic saying is that we all need to learn how to work together and like help one another basically.
Yeah.
And he says something about getting God's name right was never the test because
Right.
everyone has a different name for him, but he's still God. So thinking about grandmother wisdom and grandfather that way, it's kind of like it just makes me think of like the many ways that our people, our indigenous people think of grandmother wisdom. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this, Uncle Terry, if I may call you Uncle Terry.
Yeah.
This is really exciting. My uncle is really enjoying it. He's visiting from Colorado, so yeah. So thank you for sharing tonight, and I look forward to getting the Psalms and Proverbs.
All
So
right.
And greetings, Uncle. Please come back.
Thank you. Gwitch.
Yeah, that's interesting because like the Dene people, the Navajo, have like Spider Woman, but then it just made me think like, man, like the person who brings the wisdom is always feminine. Like, and I
Yeah.
was trying to think like, is there one where it's a guy? And I'm like, no, I can't think of one. So it's kind of interesting. All right, Rosalind, go ahead.
So, kind of going off of what Heaven had mentioned um, about the extended idea of like our family and talking about grandmother wisdom and grandfather, and even as the relatives or like the plants and the animals. I just want to say thank you for really highlighting this idea because as someone who grew up in like my parents are from Mexico and then we moved here to the United States. I was born here. I do have family in the area, but I didn't grow up close to my grandparents. So I didn't really grow up knowing what that was like. And so this is really good medicine for me because I'm really healing from not being close to family and really not like knowing part of my roots.
Mm.
And I'm even doing some decolonizing work and learning more about my Mixteco and Nawa like roots. And so this has just been really good medicine to think about not just the people that I'm related here, but how we are all connected with Mother Earth and all our relatives that Creator made us connected to. And also just that difference of being related and being one with creation to like a lot of the translations that we get where humanity is in dominion of the earth, or even a stewardship still feels like humanity is above earth. And so the indigenous ways of seeing as ourselves like not above earth but with in relationship with our relatives, all of our relatives, has just been such an incredible healing, not just concept but way of living that I've been trying to live into. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's good.
Well, Terry, you really came through once again with your what God has put in your mind and heart to put on paper with a team of people to bring the scriptures out and decolonize it and de everything to it so that it can be just way more palatable for everyone and not just from what we listened here not too long ago from Richard Twist is that the authorized version, the King James authorized version, he was saying is like, yeah, authorized maybe just for English speaking people, from 1611. But what about for the what about for today? That's you've been blessed with a gift. And Good Medicine Way is just this format where the answers can help us grow each time. My thought is that discipleship happens when we ask our questions.
Yeah.
And I think of Jesus with his disciples. He didn't say, he spent three years with them. He didn't say, I'll see you next Sunday and I'll do another sermon. Yeah. No, he spent all week long with them, give and take and talking and working things out so that after 3 years they were ready to take on the world. And that's what you helped us greatly in that. And good to see a good group here tonight. And I just want to thank you now, Terry, and we'll see you again here somewhere down the road. But I don't want to leave. If there's any last questions, that's.
I just wanted to say that I would love for you to come back sometime and teach on Genesis. I mean, there is so much to unpack, especially from the creation story. But yeah, there's a lot of spiritual meat in that book that's often overlooked, and I would love to hear you teach on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometime when the time is right.
Well, let's keep that in mind, Terry. Maybe we can do a thing like a series where you could fill us in for a couple days straight on scripture from the Old Testament.
So if I'm going to do that, you guys got to pray about all of our reviewers and our council
Oh, yeah.
having enough time, because they're I mean, I dedicate everything to doing this, all my time, all my energy, and then I speak out, quite a bit also. So I have to fit all that together. But the reviewers, they got regular jobs, they got ministries, they got stuff they're doing, and they're coming in and reviewing the initial stuff I do. and just pray that they'll have the time to do that. They do have the heart. They love being part of this group here. That we're working together and stuff, but just really pray for them. Pray for me too, that I'll have that wisdom to know when to say yes and no to. I get so many offers, and I have been turning some down because I want to keep focused on what are the most important things, and I know this translation is important. I mean, it's going to take. I mean, like I said, it'll be about 3 years before the first one comes out. The second one will be the rest of the narrative of the Bible. It'll be let's see, Judges through Esther, and that takes care of all the narrative. And then that'll be published 3 years later, and then we'll publish the prophets, the minor and major prophets. Then the last thing we're going to do is finish all the wisdom books, like Ecclesiastes and Job and stuff. But we already got Psalms and Proverbs done in the wisdom books. So when we get to that last section, it won't take as long, and they're going to do New Testament, Old Testament, one book. But that's probably 9 years away, to get to that point. So we need prayer and longevity. Pray for my heart. Pray that it's going to keep beating good and good and strong, and that I'll have the mental capacity to continue to do all this. I do believe I need prayer. Sometimes I feel it. I feel the prayer. So, and sometimes I feel, where's the prayers?
Yes, sir. I'll keep you in my prayers. Quick question: do you experience spiritual warfare over this project?
Probably, probably just the spiritual warfare I feel has to do with, I sometimes just get this overwhelmed feeling that what am I doing, and how am I ever going to be able to finish this? How am I going to do 20,000 verses and things like that? And it's that sense of you're not qualified tries to come over me. And I just have to, that's the kind of warfare I think I experience mostly. I don't have a lot of pushback. Every once in a while I'll get some, but that doesn't really, in terms of people saying, I think if you go, I think I found a place where it said this was the worst translation that's ever been made in human history. I thought, wow, how do they know that? And they never tell you why, but they just, but I don't get a lot of that. Mostly we just get such good feedback, and I got people really praying. So, I do feel like I have a prayer shield around me. A shield. God is actually protecting me for this project in some big ways. So I'm happy that I don't have the warfare that some people experience in their lives, and in their ministries.
Well, you must have a grace to do that, because I'm sure the devil hates it, and he would try to whoop up on you if he could. But yeah, you definitely have angels and people praying. I will be praying for you too.
Thank you, Miigwech.
That reminds me, brother, a lot of the younger ones, mostly the ones here, don't know the path that you've walked, or as we've watched you, what we almost didn't. There's been warfare, oh yes, but the grace that goes through, that's just the anointing and everything that's been graced and blessed and poured out. And, and he will use whoever he uses, but seeing, every day that you're going, brother, and the traveling you and sister do. I just took one plane trip, and so just I appreciate that. And
we're going to be in Abbotsford next week, Abbotsford, Canada, and BC, Canada. And one of the things we're going to do over there is that's Truth and Reconciliation Week in Canada, focused on the Indigenous peoples. And I'll be going back, Darlene and I are going back to a school where we've shared before. We help the teachers and the administration of these Christian schools help understand our Native people and our Native ways better, not to be afraid of it. Some of them are very afraid of our the Native stuff and our Native spirituality and stuff. And so I try to help calm those fears and things. And they've really welcomed Darlene and I. We've done schools in Canada 3 times on these very dates. And plus, I'll be there doing some songwriting with Brian Dirksen. We kind of work together as a reconciliation songwriting team, you know, native and non-native. But also, we're going to do a kind of an evening of on October 3rd, an evening. You can find that all on our website. I put it up there so people can pray for us. But just an evening of music and storytelling focused on Psalms and Proverbs. And Brian Dirksen will be doing some of his music. We'll do some music together. And that's been a dream of my lifetime. Is I've always appreciated his music and his spirit. And he loves the First Nations people in Canada. He's written songs about the 215, about that they found at the boarding school. And he's really gotten non-native people mad at him because he says some of these things to defend our native people and to expose this hypocrisy that has existed and is still lodged in some people's hearts, you know. So anyway, yeah, so we can thank you for your prayers. Miigwech Bizendawiag, thank you for listening.
We got one more. We have a watch party. We have a watch party taking place at New Mexico State, and they're on. So I'm going to give it over to them with the last question here. It's Sarah and Watch Party Group.
Hey.
So I just wanted to give you a word of praise and thanksgiving for the testaments that you're providing, because one of the things that I've noticed here in New Mexico, and I'm also part of the Creation Justice group for the United Methodist Church across the country, and they're using the New Testament words that you've provided in many of their prayers and just scripture readings and things like that. And so most of the people have bought their own copies now, just like really recently, because the word's getting out, and they find the way that you've translated to be so meaningful. So when somebody says something like that to you, just know that there's obviously hundreds of people that disagree and really uphold what you're doing and care and wish you long life.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you for the blessing you've provided.
Well, we're going to go to our closing song. Oh, go ahead. You have one more in your watch party? Say something.
No, she's saying no.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to go to our closing song here. And I want to let you know, Terry, next week, Monday, is when we have, it's a fifth Monday. So we focus on prayer. And I think our group, I think I can almost speak for everybody here. I think we can dedicate and put a lot of time aside to pray for you.
Thank you.
And be a focus of Good Medicine Way. 'Cause, yeah, you mean a lot to us, and we want protection and comfort and strength. Especially, because I know, not everybody knows, but, Terry did have a problem with his heart here some time ago. And Lord's brought him through that and gave him the strength to do this project. Amazing. So we're going to close it out with a song here, Ganarokwa. And then I don't see Eshe, but if somebody feels like they want to close us out, put your hand up and after the song. Man, I'm just tearing up over this message tonight. Just really getting to me. I'm just really blessed.
Thank you.
Yes, Ganarokwa. Yes, Ganarokwa.
Good singing. Thank you.
We got somebody, their hand there. All right, up there, Sarah.
So I'd like to read for you the first couple of verses in the Psalms. Harmony and well-being rest on those who do not walk the path of the bad-hearted, ones who do not stand up with those who stir up disharmony, those who will not sit in a circle where others are spoken of with scorn and disrespect. Instead, they will take joy in grandfather's clear instructions. As the sun and the moon circle the sky, they think deeply about his ways. The ones who walk this path will be like a tree whose roots reach deep into the banks of the river. When the harvest moon comes, they will bear much fruit. Their shoots and their leaves will not turn brown and fall to the ground. All they put their hands to will go well for them. May God bless these words to our hearts and to our understanding. Amen.
Wow.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there a long time. Terry, keep it up. We've got our prayers. I think we're going to make a focus, put a hedge of protection around you, and just, man, bless you. Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Have a really good evening, and I'm so thankful for this night tonight. I think I told you, I'm just so blessed by tonight's message. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
No,
Bye. Oh, well, bye.